Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video where I have a few new Dior makeup products, including the new Backstage Khaki Neutrals eyeshadow palette, as well as the two blushes from the holiday collection. So we're going to try all this out, see how it works on my skin tone, see how we get on with these new products and whether they're worth picking up or not. So if that sounds good to you, let's get started. Okay, so first let's talk about this Khaki Neutrals eyeshadow palette. This is from the Backstage collection. Typically these palettes are permanent and I haven't seen anywhere that this is going to be a limited edition. So I think this is part of the permanent collection. Please let me know if you know better or you know otherwise. So this features a primer, a pearly white top coat. You then have 3 satin shades, 3 glitter shades and a metallic. It comes in this super sleek and thin packaging, perfect for makeup artists for storing lots of these palettes because they're so minimal, they take up so little space, and they are a plastic minimal kind of packaging. There's nothing bougie or exciting really about the packaging, but I do find it quite understated and chic, and the plastic is a nice sturdy thick quality. So yeah, I don't really mind this packaging, but I do understand it's not like the prettiest at the same time. As soon as I saw this color story, I knew I needed to try it because I am always in the hunt for khakis and greens and these gorgeous like army green colors right up my street. So I had to jump all over that as soon as I saw this color story. And then we have these 2 new stunning blush shades, which is part of their holiday collection. Within the holiday collection, there are also some eyeshadow palettes. We also have some new lip colors, a new Dior Addict lipstick case, and there are some nail varnishes as well. So there's a lot going on here. I did already order one of the Addict shades, the new Dior Addict shades, but you guys know how I feel about that formula. It's incredible. If the new colours, are interesting to you, then by all means, you know that I love that formula. So it's just about whether the new colours are interesting to you or not. So without further ado, let's have a play with these products on my eyes and the cheeks. Okay, so I didn't prime my eyes because I wanted to use this primer that's in here. I have a few of these Backstage palettes and I think the primers in these palettes are actually like decent. They're nice, they're a good quality. I'm using my Jumbo Worker from the new Sonia G Fusion Eye Set, which I'm absolutely loving. This brush is really nice, like multitasker. Like you could use it for concealer, you could use it for like cream or liquid highlight. It's a really nice one for priming the eyes. Definitely like a multitasker for sure. So you can see this primer is quite light, like it's a lot lighter than like my skin tone, which is fine for me, but I think if you have a much deeper skin tone than me, it's going to look a little crazy. That's something to note because it does have some colour to it and it is quite light. So I'm going to start off with this satin up here. It's really hard looking at these palettes to like know what their finishes are. Like when I look in here, it all looks the same. Like I can't tell what's a metallic, what's a matte, what's a satin. So that's just something to kind of be aware of. It does say on the back what each of the shades is finish wise. What is going on? See, that says it's a satin, but it's actually really glittery. So that's interesting. I wasn't expecting that. So yeah. Maybe we have to ignore what the finishes say. That's not like what a satin is in my mind. That's really shimmery. I'm confused. Okay, so let's have a go with this yellow that is also claims to be a satin and see what that's looking at. I was about to look in. This is the annoying thing about these. They don't have a mirror. I was about to look in here to see close up. Yeah, that is also like quite shimmery. I am confused because to me a satin is like typically doesn't have like it's got maybe a bit of a sheen or a bit of luminosity to it, but it's like closer to matte than it would be to like a shimmer. This is just, to me, this is a shimmer, not a satin. So that's intriguing, but everything is going on nicely and smoothly on top of that primer. Those are nice primers in these Backstage palettes. I do like them. So there actually are no mattes in here, but I'm going to try this satin down here just to actually, I want to get some like depth from somewhere and a little bit of transition from somewhere, because at the moment these first shades that I laid down were not giving me what I thought, because they're way shimmerier than I thought they were going to be. This has definitely got a bit more of a richer amount of pigment. This is giving me, we're getting there now. We're getting towards where I thought we were going to have started off, because we've now got a bit of like more of what I would describe as a satin with this middle shade down here. Really nice, soft, probably actually closer to a satin than the first two shades, what I would call a satin at least, but still quite like light. I wonder how buildable that is. I've been using my Rephr 16, by the way. I'm moving over to my 15 now, but I'm still using that same brown satin, apparently. Really earthy, this palette. I'm absolutely loving like the earthy tones in here. Right up my street and just perfect for this season. I love these like earthy, grungy, khaki tones. Oh, delightful. It's really a bit unexpected, this palette, because there's no mattes in here, and even like the satins or the so-called satins in here are actually quite shimmery. It's definitely giving me like a different look than what I thought I was going to get today, but not in a bad way, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I'm not even sure where to go from here, because these two both are called glitters on the back, and then it says this is a metallic, but these look matte to me, so I am confusion. But I am going to use this super rich, like mossy looking green next. I feel like someone's printed this sheet on the back wrong, because if we were calling those first shades satins and we're calling this shade a glitter, I just don't know what planet we've landed on, to be honest, because this, to me, this is more of a satin, and again, this is not what a glitter is in my mind at all. Like, I was expecting, like, you know, it says glitter, you think it's going to be like a sparkly topper, so yeah, that's not what this is. This is, to me, more of a satin, so I'm confused. I'm just not going to look at the descriptions anymore. I'm just going to put the shadows on and I'll explain what it's giving me, because I feel like the descriptions on the back are wrong. I wonder if mine says the same as everybody else's. I don't know. Mine came from Dior's own website, okay, so I know that it's like real, and the label, you know, is printed correctly, as in Dior did it. So I don't know what to tell you, because these finished descriptions are just not accurate to me, but at the same time, they're actually beautiful. And, you know, the palette is giving me exactly what I want it to give. So, you know, we'll just put the shade names to one side if we can. Okay, so I'm going to use this green here, whatever it is. It claims to be a metallic, so we'll see. I mean, yeah, I guess that's the first one where I'd say I agree. It is a softer metallic, but it is what I would have called a metallic. So we've got one that is as described. These shadows are all working so beautifully. They're really soft, easy to work with, blending really nicely. I'm now going to go into this shade here, which is called a glitter again, but I'm intrigued to see what we get. Again, I would call this a satin. It's like, how are the glitters less glittery than the satins is my question. That's definitely a question I have. I mean, that's not giving me a lot, I'll say, because it's not really a glitter. So yeah, that's the first shade that I'm like, it's okay. So we're going to use this that claims to be a satin. This is the first shade I use, because I know actually, yep, that is more of a shimmer than the glitter shade. So yeah, I think I'm going to prefer this. It's going to be a bit more of a brightening shade, which is what I want for that inner corner. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm so happy with how this look is turning out, you know. So I'm going to use this shade down here, because it's the only one I haven't used from the bottom row just yet, on my lower lash line. I love how many options there are in here, but the whole palette just works. The color story of this palette is unmatched as far as like khakis. I feel like lots of brands call stuff khaki, but they put like 1 or 2 shades in there. But I want this, I want it all. I want all the khaki. Okay, so next I'm going to use this, which is described as a top coat, a pearly white top coat, and it's definitely giving me like shimmer. I'm just gonna, oh, that's nice. And the center of the lid, I'm just kind of tapping this on to brighten that up. I wonder if that would be better with a finger. It's not like especially glittery, but it is sort of like adding a bit of reflection and light to the look. So that's pretty. I think that's going to be, but you know, it's not giving me a huge amount. I think it's going to be a good like inner corner. Let's try it on the inner corner. Oh yes, that's pretty. It's not got a huge amount of like base to it as it is, you know, it says it's a top coat. I think that's pretty actually on the inner corner. I think patting it on the top, that may have been a mistake, but you know, we've done it now. Okay, so here is the finished look. I've literally put every color in here on my eyes. I've got a bit of like spread, which is just from me messily blending. There's not really, there's a couple of little specks of fallout, but nothing major. This is just where I've like blended, and I should have done my eyes first, so I, you know, could have cleaned that up. But this is so flipping pretty. You know, I've definitely gone a bit overboard, okay, because I wanted to try every color, but nonetheless, this is, all of these shades worked so nicely together. You know, even me looking at this palette, I would think I'm not really going to use like that goldy shade, but it just really added a bit of something and really pretty. And even though I went quite like wrong because of the inaccurate descriptions of the finishes, I just think this is really pretty and quite different. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Let's put some mascara on and do a bit more of a close-up. Okay, so I've added mascara and I've tidied up the little blending mistake that I've been making. I absolutely love this look. I love it. It's so pretty. I feel like it's a bit different, very autumnal, beautiful, exactly what I wanted from this color story. I think it's gorgeous and quite different. And I love every color in here. Every color in here has a place, has a purpose, works together beautifully. I'm obsessed. I think it's gorgeous. This is, I'll say it now, I don't mind saying it, that this is the best eyeshadow palette I've ever tried from Dior. Okay, sometimes these Backstage palettes are a little disappointing to me because they're a little underwhelming, but the color stories are always gorgeous. I feel like this time the effect and the look that it's given me has actually lived up to the excitement I had over the color story. So yay, thank you Dior, you have delivered what I was looking for. Okay, let's get on to these blushes now. A couple of things I've already noticed is they do have the like fragrance, okay? They have the classic Dior fragrance. It's definitely noticeable. You smell it as soon as you open the compact, so that's just something to be aware of. I'm using my Sonia G Lotus Detail brush. This is the deeper of the two, 826 is the colour. Okay, that is going to be quite rich for me. What I love about this collection is that, you know, if you're going to bring out 2 blushes in a collection, bring out a really rich, gorgeous, deeper one and one that's lighter and softer and more muted, so that people with different skin tones have a choice. You know, this is going to work stunningly on like tanned and deeper skin tones. I can use this, you know, I could have definitely used a lighter hand than I did, but this is beautiful nonetheless. I haven't got any highlight on, by the way, because I just wanted to see like the finish of the blush. I did use a bit of bronzer. It's a matte bronzer, so it's not going to give us any glow or anything like that, but that's beautiful to me. I'd say this has like a satin finish. There's no real sort of luminosity. There's certainly no glitter, but it doesn't look super flat matte either. Obviously a richer blush on my skin tone will be stunning on like a tanned and deeper skin tone. Absolutely gorgeous. Really, again, it just kind of goes with the eyeshadow look. I feel like it's quite autumnal as well. This one from the swatches definitely appeared to have more luminosity to it. So we'll see if that sort of translates onto the skin. I'll also say that the embossing is holding up really nicely. Like I did a heavy swatch of this and then I've, you know, swirled my brush in there and it doesn't look like it's been used at all. So luckily, I think this embossing is going to last quite nicely because it is gorgeous. So, wow, this is pretty, very soft, but it's definitely got, you know, the pigment. I don't feel like I need to build this up at all. So again, this is going to work on, you know, maybe more skin tones than you might think from looking at it. It looks quite light. I think, again, this is going to, with a bit of building, this is going to work on lots more skin tones than I thought, because it looked like such a lighter shade. But, you know, let's build it up just to see. I mean, yeah, so it's going to build nicely as well. You could actually get, I mean, I could certainly get quite an intense blush out of this colour. Definitely got luminosity in this blush. You can see it doesn't look glittery, but it has got quite a luminous finish, which is just stunning. I thought that just from looking at the swatches, it seems to have almost like some gold luminosity through there. Stunning. Such a beautiful blush. I think this one's definitely sort of works better on my skin tone for me, and I love the luminosity. This one's definitely more matte and a little too deep for me. This is not patchiness, by the way. This is just like my face. It's like my natural contour. You can see it there as well. But it does sometimes make things look a bit muddy, but that's not the blush's fault, okay? It's just my face. I'm so sorry about it. Just gonna buff a little around the edges, tone that down slightly. Okay, so just buffed the edges a little. You can see this definitely has a sort of more of a matte finish. Whereas on this side, you can really see that luminosity coming through. It's absolutely stunning. I think this is the better one for my skin tone. This one's a little rich for me. Definitely totally wearable. But I do love, I'm a sucker for a luminous finish, you know. So, but the lightest shade, 556, is definitely my pick of the two. But this eyeshadow though, living. Okay, so this eyeshadow palette, as you can probably tell, I love it. It's gorgeous. There is the obvious elephant in the room, which is that I don't think many of the descriptions on the back as far as the like finishes of these shadows are correct. I don't know. I want to know. I haven't seen anyone else's videos about this. Does everybody else's say these same things? Because to me, I mean, there's no way this warm gold is a satin. It was a metallic in my opinion. And then the glitters that don't really have any glitter in, I'm very confused. Okay, so that's the one negative that I could tell you about this palette is I think most of the shade descriptions, as in what the finish of the shade is on the back, is incorrect. I don't know if that's just mine, it's mislabeled or something. I don't know what's going on, is what I'm saying. But those seem wildly wrong, and it's not very helpful when you're trying to work out which one to use where, as you saw. It caused me some surprises, let's say. However, the quality of the shadows, the colours, how they performed, and the look that I got on the eye, I'm obsessed. I love it. I always feel like I'm disappointed by the Backstage palettes because they can be a bit soft, a bit muted, and they don't really give me like what I want the colour story to give me, like the peachy one that came out in spring or whenever, the previous one that I tried. That was like the colour story was everything, but I just feel like the execution was like a bit lacking. This one did not disappoint me at all, actually exceeded my expectations. Every shade in here was giving me exactly what I wanted it to give me. I think it's beautiful and quite unique as far as the look that it gave me and the options. You know, I tried to whack every colour in here on my eyes, and we succeeded in that mission. And it just goes to show how flexible and versatile it is that you could really get some different looks out of here, but you are going to be able to use and wear every shade in here. Everything is gorgeous. I'm in love with it, and I'm quite shocked. I wasn't expecting to love it as much. As far as the blushes, there's a definite I much prefer the coral shade because it's got that luminosity, and I think it just flatters my skin tone more. I think the richer shade, because it's so much richer and deeper for my skin tone. It's kind of tricky. It has a tendency to maybe look a little patchy or just look a little off because it's just a bit too deep and rich for my skin tone, but still a gorgeous colour and will look far better, I think, on someone with tanned or deeper skin tone. I mean, both of them are very beautiful shades. I think the richer shade is more sort of classically autumnal, whereas obviously coral, typically a spring colour. But it's an all year round colour for me, let's just say that. It's also definitely more matte, which isn't my typical preference when it comes to a blush, so the winner is definitely the coral for me. But both really nice blush shades, and I really appreciate when a brand, you know, puts out two blush shades, that there's one that will suit really deep skin tones and there's one that will suit lighter skin tones, and there's kind of something for everybody. Like that for me is all I asked for. Okay, so there you have it. Those are all my thoughts on these new Dior products. A really great day for me, okay? I am happy and excited because I wasn't expecting to love this eyeshadow palette, and finally I have a Dior eyeshadow palette that I love. So hooray, the day has arrived. Please let me know if you've tried these products. If you have this palette, does yours say what mine says on the back with regards to the satin glitter metallic situation? Is it just me that thinks they're wildly wrong? I don't know. I'd love to know. Please tell me, have I gone mad, or has Dior? Please let it be Dior. But I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye.